अरेहंत सिद्ध सुर उपाध्याय साधु सर्व अर्थ के प्रकाशी मांगलिक उपकारी है। तीन का स्वरूप जानी राग ते भई जो भक्ति काय को नमाय स्तुति को उच्चारी है। धन्य धन्य तुमी से काज सब आज भयो कर जोरी बारंबार वंदना हमारी है। मंगल कल्याण सुख ऐसो हम चाहते हो मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। हो मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। जय जिनेन्द्र to all. This is the new Mangla Charan that will be reciting every time we begin the class. This is written down by Pandit Todarmalji, and I will share you the text also so that you can also memorize and you can also recite. So coming to the new semester, second semester. So congratulations to you all for completing the first semester. And now we are starting the second semester today. We were supposed to start with Dharm ke 10 Lakshan, but it is in self-study. So we are going to do that during the 10 Lakshan Dharma in September, and every day one Dharm will do. 45 minutes class every day during the 10 Lakshan Dharma period. Okay. So that paper of 10 Lakshan Dharma will be taken care of that way. And I will be guiding you on each Dharma briefly and the main points. And then you can read out on your own and you will be able to understand fully. It's a very interesting topic. So we are not going to leave it for your self-study, and you are pretty new to this course and the studies. So I would not leave it to you, and I will explain you, but in brief. And that we'll be doing during the 10 Lakshan Dharma. All the 10 days we will have class every evening, say around quarter to 8 to 8:30 or something like that, or 8 to 8:45, something like that. I'll check our local timings also. We will be also having one Vidwan coming from Chindwada. So I'll be attending that class also. But first we'll take our class and then I will go. So, so the paper one is not, we are starting right now. We are starting with paper 2, which is Tattvagyan part 1. And in that, we are starting with chapter 2, errors concerning the 7 fundamentals. So you would say that we had already studied this chapter in Vitrag Vigyan 2, chapter 3. So there is a bit difference between the two. That one was basically as we have studied in this first semester, that delusions are of two types. One is acquired delusion and one is inborn delusion. Okay. So that chapter of Vitrag Vigyan 2 was extracted from Chhe Dhala by Pandit Daulat Ramji, and that was regarding inborn delusion. Okay. Now this one will be about acquired delusion. So you can make the difference. That was about inborn delusion, and this will be about acquired delusion. So there will be a difference in explanation of each tattvas, each elements, and so the mistakes also will be different. Okay, so there.
But inborn, that can you tell in Hindi what is that inborn and acquired?
Acquired is grahit.
Grahit, agrihit, na?
And inborn is agrahit. Inborn is that is which is coming from time immortal. Okay, and basically it relates to the seven tattvas, errors regarding the seven tattvas, and the acquired one is grahit mithyatva, and this is something we have acquired in this birth. So the chapter that we are going to study today is related to that. It is related to grahit mithyatva and not agrahit mithyatva. So that is the basic difference. We are not going into details of Pandit Todarmalji because we had already studied in Vitrag Vigyan, the Charan Yog chapter. But you can read it as a homework. So we'll be starting the chapter. As you know, there are 7 elements: Jeev, Ajeev, soul, non-soul, Asrav is influx, Bandh is bondage, Samvar is stoppage of influx, Nirjara is a dissociation of bondage, and then moksha is liberation. So these 7 fundamentals you have already studied in Vitrag Vigyan 1, and then errors regarding the 7 fundamentals you had studied in Vitrag Vigyan 2. But now in Tattvagyan 1, the second chapter, page number 18, errors concerning the 7 fundamentals, and this will be from the point of view of acquired delusion. So that is the basic difference. Otherwise, you would have thought that once we have already studied, why again? But this is from a different perspective, and you will have more clarity about these 7 elements. So if you tell me what will be a single topic that is discussed time and again in this Paramagam honors course of 5 years, I would say it is 7 fundamentals. So you have studied already twice. This is the 3rd time. Then we will study in Chadala, then in Moksha Marg Prakasak 4th Adhikar, and then Moksha Marg Prakasak 9th Adhikar. Not 9th, 7th Adhikar. So apart from that, you will also study in Dravya Sangra, and apart from that, you will also study in Tattvad Sutra, you will also study in Samaisar. So you see, this is very important topic. Why? Because Samyak Darshan, okay, right belief, is achieved after knowing the true nature of these 7 elements. Okay, so this is very much important. Once we understand these 7 fundamentals very clearly, then you will attain right belief very soon. So great emphasis has been laid on this topic, 7 fundamentals, and we had covered extensively in the Vitrag Vigyan paper 1 and 2. Okay, so you know already in detail about this, but we will add something new to that some new perspective to that, and you will enjoy that. I wanted to speak something about the examination also, and I also want to know what was your experience, but that we will do it next week. By meantime, I will correct all the papers, and I will also give you a feedback about that. So I'll take it next week only. Today and tomorrow we are going to study, and today we begin with errors concerning the 7 fundamentals. As long as people or beings do not have the internal understanding of the 7 fundamentals. So by internal understanding, they mean concept clarity. You should have a concept clarity about the 7 fundamentals. Including the soul, they cannot achieve the goal of right faith. So unless and until you have a clear-cut understanding of the 7 fundamentals, then you cannot achieve the goal of right faith. Right faith means right belief, and right belief means samyak darshan. So this topic is very important, because with samyak darshan, the path of liberation begins. And once the path of liberation begins, you are going to get liberated very soon. So, so from that point of view, this topic is very important, and we will take this very deep. You just pay attention and listen to it. Even after studying Jain scriptures, a person having wrong faith does not have the real understanding of the elements. So after studying Jain scriptures, okay, that means this is the acquired one, because he is studying the Jain scriptures, but still he develops this wrong understanding about the 7 fundamentals. So what are the errors that soul undergoes, and for which he does not have a clear-cut understanding about the 7 elements? So we'll be discussing each errors, but first we are discussing soul and non-soul elements, Jeev and Ajeev. Jeev and Ajeev, we are doing it both together, because what is a mistake for Jeev is also a mistake for Ajeev, and what is a mistake for Ajeev is also a mistake for Jeev, because both are interconnected. Okay, so if there is a error in one of the things, then the other things also you are not having a true knowledge. So what is the errors regarding soul and non-soul elements? Engaged in the pursuit of the self, the being understands the divisions of the moving and non-moving creatures. Okay. Moving creatures is thrust, and non-moving creatures is sthavar, or the one-sensed being. Okay. So one-sensed being are non-moving creatures, but from two indriya to 5 indriya, all are moving creatures. The being understands the divisions of the moving and non-moving creatures and other milestones of the spiritual growth. So what is the spiritual growth? This is Gunasthan, the spiritual development, 14 stages of spiritual development, as also the different manifestation of the matter substances. So this matter, different manifestations of the matter substance means Marganasthan. Marganasthan means different places where we can find a soul. Okay. So all these 14 Marganas are together at a time, but for Gunasthan, it is one Gunasthan at a time. Okay. So if you are in the fourth, you are not in the fifth. If you are in the fifth, you are not in the sixth, seventh. So you will have always one Gunasthan at a time. That is called the stages of spiritual development. But for Marganasthan, means different manifestation of the matter substances. Engage in the pursuit of the self. The being understands the divisions of the moving and non-moving creatures and the other milestones of the spiritual growth, as also the different manifestations of the matter substance, that is Pudgal Dravya, but does not exactly have the ability of discrimination between the self and the non-self, and the path leading to full detachment as described in the spiritual scriptures. So I'll read the Hindi once, so if you can make it from there also. जैन शास्त्रों में वर्णित as defined in Jainism, जीव के त्रस स्थावर आदि तथा गुणस्थान मार्गणा आदि भेदों तथा अजीव के उद्गल आदि भेदों व वर्ण आदि पर्यायों को तो जानता है, पर अध्यात्म शास्त्रों में वर्णित भेद विज्ञान, है ना, भेद विज्ञान बिटवीन व्हाट, सेल्फ एंड द नॉन सेल्फ, अध्यात्म शास्त्रों में वर्णित भेद विज्ञान स्वपर का और वितरागी दशा. ओके, वितरागी दशा इज full detachment as described in the spiritual scriptures. So वितरागी दशा होने के कारणभूत कथन को नहीं पहचानता. So this is the first error. So he knows all the details of the jivas of so many types. There are so many gunasthans associated with a jiv, and then there is so much in marganasthan associated with a jiv, and about the ajiv also he knows about its different categories of ajiv, but he doesn't know the true nature of soul and non-soul, so that he can practice descriptive knowledge and he can be happy. Okay, so this is the first error. He knows about jivs, some details, but he does not know with a purpose of practicing descriptive knowledge. So he doesn't know the difference between the self and the non-self. Second one, even when he knows them, his knowledge is based on the religious texts, but does not have full faith in knowing one's own self, and not to mix that with others, and to keep one's self unmixed with others. Even if he knows them means soul and non-soul, his knowledge is based on the religious texts, but does not have full faith in knowing one's own self. Okay, and not to mix that with others. तो अपना अंश पर में नहीं मिलाता है और पर का अंश अपने में नहीं मिलाता है, ऐसा सच्चा श्रद्धान नहीं करता. Okay, so yeah, because of this mixture, he is not able to attain right faith, right? So if you are not practicing proper descriptive knowledge, how can you achieve right faith? So this is the second error regarding soul and non-soul. There are 5 errors. So third one, like other people having perverted faith, this one also treats religious teaching, fast, and other activities depending upon the body as one's own. So it is the activity of the body. When you do a fast, it is an activity of the body. And when you listen to religious teachings, it is again a bodily activity. But he considers this activity to be his own. So he himself being a soul, he does not recognize himself to be a soul, but he recognizes himself to be a body. So this is the third error. Fourth error, he discusses the element of soul as described in the religious books. Okay, so he also have the true knowledge of the soul, but does not realize that soul is himself and the body and other outside objects are totally different. He experiences the body and the soul are different entities as if he is talking of some third person. So he discusses about the religion and the experience, and but he realizes himself to be body. He realizes that soul and body are one. And he also talks about different entities of body and soul, but he talks as if he is talking about a third person. He does not talk as if this is my own description. So this is the fourth error that he is doing. He may have known all the characteristics of a soul, but he does not consider himself to be a soul, and he considers himself to be a mixture of body and soul, which is again a false belief, and that's why he is not able to achieve a right belief. Fifth and the last one, he treats the joint activities of the soul and the body as one. Okay, so fourth and fifth is more or less same, and does not follow that matter is just an indifferent cause of the activity of the soul. Okay, so indifferent cause means instrumental cause. So body and soul are two different entities. They are two different substances, but in between them, they have a relationship of instrumental cause and principal cause. Okay, so he treats the joint activities of the soul and the body as one, and does not follow that matter is just an indifferent cause of the activity of the soul, and the soul in its turn is again an indifferent cause of the activity of the matter. So both are doing their own work simultaneously. Each is not related to the other in any ways, but they have a relationship of nimic, instrumental cause and principal cause. He does not realize the inherent difference between the two activities. So he does not realize the true nature of the soul and the body. So these are the 5 differences between soul and non-soul. 5 errors regarding soul and non-soul. If you start the statement from the soul, then it is an error on the soul. And if you start the statement from the non-soul, then it becomes an error of non-soul. But whichever way you talk, it is the same, and both are interconnected. So the errors are common. When you are not having a right faith of soul, you are not also having a right faith of non-soul elements. And when you are not having a right belief of non-soul elements, then you are also not having a correct belief of soul. So both are interrelated, and these are the 5 errors. The next in line is Astrav Tattva Sambandhi Bhul, errors regarding influx element. He regards violence and other sinful influxes as undesirable, but treats non-violence and other merit influences as desirable. So whether it is auspicious sentiment or inauspicious sentiment, both are binding karmas. So how can you consider one to be beneficial and the other to be non-beneficial? Both are non-beneficial to us. Okay. So he doesn't realize this difference. He considers the sinful activities as a cause of bindage of new karma, but he considers the auspicious activity as something related to religion. But both are binding karmas that he doesn't realize. He regards violence and other sinful influences as undesirable, but treats non-violence, ahimsa, and other merit influxes and other auspicious influxes as desirable. Both of them, however, are undesirable, being instrumental to bondage of the soul. Since both are binding karmas, how can one be desirable and other can be undesirable? Second point, the desirable state is that without any bondage. Okay, so passionlessness is all what we want to manifest. So this is the desirable state where one only knows and sees. So when you remain a knower and seer, okay, then you produce pureness, okay, and remains perfectly detached. As long as this state is not achieved, one may indulge in merits, but he should have faith that this also leads to bondage. So when he remains only a knower and seer, then there is no bondage. And that is something each and every soul plans to do. But until then, when he attains that complete detachment, he should indulge in auspicious activity. But he should understand that there is a bondage because of this auspicious activity also. So that is not something desirable. And in belief, he knows that this is the path of liberation, and because of that, he is having wrong faith. Okay. Third point, he does not recognize the internal nature of wrong faith and other influxes and consider that their outward form is real influx. So there are 5 causes for binding karmas. First one is delusion. The second one is restraint from 5 sensory objects. Mithyatva, avirati, pramad, Pramad is unawareness or the recklessness. Then Mithyatva, Aviriti, Pramad, Kashai. Kashais are passions. And the last one is Yog. Okay. Mind, voice, and body activity is called Yog. So now you see, he will be getting errors in all the 5. We are going to discuss 4 of them. First one, he does not recognize the internal nature of wrong faith and other influxes and consider that their outward form is real influx. So the first one, he treats adopted wrong faith. Adopted wrong faith means acquired wrong faith only as false belief, but does not understand the eternal inherited. So eternal inherited is inborn delusion. Eternal inherited wrong faith as such. Okay. So there are 2 types of false belief. One is acquired and the other one is inborn. So he only considers the acquired one and does not consider the inborn, which is from time immortal. Second one. So this was about delusion. So next will be about non-abstinence. He regards outer violence and indulgence in mind. Okay. So outer violence and indulgence in mind and senses. Okay. As non-abstinence, but does not realize that recklessness, pramad, is the root cause of violence. And desire is at the root of indulgence in subjects of senses and mind. So desire is abhilasha and indulgence in subject of senses and mind is Visay Sevan. Okay. So the root cause of violence is recklessness, and the desire at the root of indulgence in subject of senses and mind. So he is always having a longing or craving to enjoy that 5 sensory objects. Okay. This is the chief cause of his binding of karmas.
Excuse me, Ji. You said some word for indulgence in subjects of senses and mind. What is that one, Ji?
That is 5 indriyo ke vishay. 5 sensory objects. 5 sensory objects.
Looking for the word Vishay Sevan.
Okay.
Vishay?
Sevan.
Okay. Thank you.
So indulgence in subjects is Visay 7. Okay. C. He considers passions to be outward anger, etc., but does not realize that attachment and aversions that remain in intention are the real enemies. So the external anger, he considers the passions as external anger only, but the one that is there in his understanding, that are the real enemies and that he never realizes. So that is his error regarding the passions. He does not know the true nature of passions. And the last one is Yog. He regards outward movement of body, speech, and mind as such, but has no idea of the intrinsic power of such activities. So, external external movement of body, speech, and mind, he only considers that, but he does not know that behind this external activity of body, speech, and mind, there is an internal power, okay? And that is called intrinsic power, Shakti Bhut Yog. So he doesn't know about it. So basically, he sees what is seen outside as the chief cause of the influx. But behind that external activities, there is an internal cause which is not able to recognize. That is his error regarding influx elements. The next is, so there is a fourth point also. Attachments and aversions that cause wrong faith are in fact real influxes. Since he does not recognize them as such, he commits errors as regards influxes. Now the next, errors regarding bondage element. He treats sinful manifestations as bad and leading to demerit. Leading to demerit bondage. Okay. But thinks that feelings of merit bondage are desirable. So again, the same mistake. He treats sinful manifestation as bad, but again, he feels that merit bondage are good, are desirable. Distinctions of merits and demerits lie only in the non-destructive karmas. Okay. So in the ghati karma, all are pap karmas. But in aghati karma, there is a distinction between punya and pap. Some are auspicious ones and some are inauspicious ones. So there is a distinction of merits and demerits only in the non-destructive karmas. Destructive karmas are all demerits and even one indulges in merits. So even if you are involved in an auspicious activity, still you are binding karmas, because in ghati karma there is no distinction between auspicious and inauspicious. Both are binding, and so he attracts destructive karmas. As such, how can merit being instrumental to bondage be desirable for the soul on its upward march? So we cannot consider merit as a desirable, because it is also leading to bondage. So this is logic is the same as that, more or less same as that we have it. We had studied in Vitrag Vigyan, these errors. The next error is errors regarding stoppage element, samvar. Okay. He treats merit influxes, that is non-violence at rasa, as stoppage, but does not realize that one and the same activity cannot lead to merit bondage and stoppage. Okay. So same activity cannot lead to bondage and stoppage. If it is stoppage, then there is no bondage. And if it is bondage, then there cannot be stoppage. Okay. But he considers merit influxes or non-violence, etc. as stoppage, but does not realize that one and the same activity cannot lead to merit bondage and stoppage. So he considers merit influxes as stoppage, and that is not stoppage, but merit influxes also binds karmas. Second point, he does not exactly understand that abstinences of various kinds are instrumentals to merit bondage. So what are these abstinences? Gupti, samiti, dharma, anupreksha, parisajay, and charitra. So there are 6 in all, and these are all external activities, okay? And he considers these activities as the main cause of abstinence, okay? But these are only an external activity, and he does not realize that what is the true cause behind these activities. We'll take one at a time. First one is Gupti. Gupti means the hidden woes, okay? Not wishing ill of others, observing silence, and abstaining from movements, okay? So not wishing ill of others is pap chintvan. Observing silence is maun. And abstaining from movements means not any movement activity, are treated as control of body. Control of body means Gupti and mind, okay? He considers them as control of body and mind. He does not pay attention to diversions of auspicious attachments. The real control of body and mind lies in perfect detachment that leads to loss of activity automatically. So when a soul concentrates on the self, okay, or he is into deep meditation, automatically the activity of mind, body does not arise automatically, okay? So it does not rise only that activity. When you are in full focus of yourself, or when are you in meditation, you are not thinking about anything, you are not talking anything, and you are not doing any movement of the body. So the actual Gupti happens like this. But he does not realize the meditation part, and he tries to just not perform any bodily activity and consider himself to be hidden woes holder. Similarly, about the samiti, which is also called vigilance and carefulness. Likewise, he treats his wishful attempts to avoid injury as samiti abstinence, but does not know that violence in intention is sinful, and if desire to avoid injury and protect creatures are regarded as stoppage, what would lead to married bondage. Okay, so he does not realize the difference that there are some activities which is causing the married bondage, and consider those activities as a cause for the stoppage of influx. Okay, so that is his error regarding this samvar or stoppage of influx. Monks having some attachment move about and perform other actions, but since they are deeply moved by those actions, they are not accused of recklessness as such. So in general, monk, whenever he travels from one place to another place, he always looks down and see that not a small insect is being killed by him. They also serve their purpose of movements, etc., without causing pain to other creatures, and as such they remain non-violent automatically. So for a true monk, this samiti automatically gets adapted in his life. The third one is about das dharma, 10 characteristics of religion. He may not indulge in anger and other passions, Krodh, Man, Maya, Lobh, for fear of bondage. Okay. So actually he is manifesting anger inside himself, but he is not expressing that anger. Okay. And with the temptations of heavenly life and complete liberation. So why is not manifesting anger in the outside? Because he considers that if I do anger and other passions, then I will not get a heavenly life. I'll be born in a hellish being. I'll be born as a hellish being or subhuman being. But the inner desires for passion persist, and he still regards himself as observing rules of conduct like forbearance or forgiveness. The tendency to regard substances as desirable or otherwise, okay? So in this universe, not a single substance is desirable or undesirable, but he considers some substance as desirable and other as non-desirable. So this tendency has to be stopped. So until and unless this is stopped with the real understanding of the elements, then the 10 characteristics of religion does not manifest. Then anger, etc., do not rise in the soul, and therein lies real religion. Now, the next one is about 12 contemplations. Due to meditation on the transitoriness of worldly affairs. So it is not only transitoriness, but all the other contemplations also. Due to the meditation on the transitoriness of worldly affairs, he regards body and other passions as evil, but his indifference towards this is actuated by aversion. Okay, so he is basically manifesting dvesh, which is called aversion. Real indifference is not to indulge in attachment and aversions after realizing the real nature of the substance. So, with thinking about 12 contemplations, he should take shelter in his self, and when he takes shelter in his self, these 12 contemplations will automatically happen in the outer external part. Then the next one is Parisha Jai, 22 calamities. Okay, winning over 22 calamities and tortures. Not to try to satisfy hunger, etc., when they rise, is treated as parisajai abstinence by him, without taking into consideration the mental agony caused by these. Shuddha adi hone par, when he is hungry and other things, उसके नाश का उपाय नहीं करने को परिसेजय मानता है. अंतर में क्लेश रूम परिणाम रहते हैं, उन पर ध्यान नहीं देता. Not try to satisfy hunger, etc., when they rise, is treated as parisajai abstinence by him, without taking into consideration the mental agony caused by this. So he doesn't look at the mental agony, only he is just solving the problem of hunger and all. But inside there are mental agony and all sorts of intoxic emotions. Real abstinence is not to be happy or unhappy in the face of agreeable or unagreeable situations and remain a detached observer only. है ना? So, what is real abstinence? So, real abstinence is not to be happy or unhappy. If you are happy, then also it is a toxic emotion. And if you are unhappy, then also is a toxic emotion. So is not to be happy or unhappy in the face of agreeable or unagreeable situations. Agreeable means those situations which you are comfortable with. Okay. And unagreeable means those situations which causes a problems to you. And in both the cases, he remains as a detached observer. Okay. So that is actually the true winning above 22 calamities. And the last one is Charitra. So he regards renunciation of violence, etc., as real conduct and observances of the great rules of conduct as desirable. हिंसा आदि के त्याग को चारित्र मानता है तथा महाव्रत आदि शुभ उपयोग को उपादेय मानता है. Okay. And observation of the great rules of conduct. Okay. So, as desirable, Tattva Sutra describes observation of great rules of conduct, Mahavrat, okay, and partial observances thereof, Anuvrat. Partial observances Anuvrat, and observation of great rules is Mahavrat, both as influxes. So Tattva Sutra considered both as the cause of binding a new karma. How can an influxes be desirable? Being instrumental to bondage, the great conventional rules of conduct cannot be regarded as conduct. Real conduct is the state of being unattached without a dint of passions. Monks observe those great rules as soft passions, but do not regard them as conducive to the state of liberation. So these were the errors regarding the stoppage element. So now we have errors regarding gradual dissociation of element, nirjara. Okay. He does not realize that tapa means penance. Abstinence lies in complete detachment. Okay. So actual tapa is concentrating on the self and manifesting pure manifestation. Okay. Absorbed in outward activities, he considers himself to be engaged in tapa, abstinence, and thinks that this would lead to gradual dissociation of bondage. So he is only involved in outward activities, and those activities are not directly a cause for dissociation of bondage. Okay. So these are all penance from the conventional point of view. And the actual penance is concentrating on the self. So he does not know about it and consider these external activities as a tapa. So that is his error regarding gradual dissociation element. Second point, he does not know that the state of detachment is real dissociation. The merit activities lead to bondage only. Intrinsic religion is detachment, which is instrumental to dissociation. Now the last one, errors regarding complete liberation element. He treats the bliss of heavenly life and complete liberation alike. Okay, so bliss of heavenly life is really a true religion. One minute. Huh? Okay, so bliss of heavenly life is Swarg and complete liberation is moksha. So he treats both of them alike. But in actually, heavenly bliss is dependent upon senses, while the bliss of the completely liberated soul is psychic only. वीतराग भाव रूप तप को तो जानता नहीं है, बाह्य क्रिया में ही लीन रहे उसे ही तप मान मोक्ष मोक्ष और स्वर्ग के सुख को एक जाति का मानता है, जबकि स्वर्ग सुख इंद्रिय जन्य है और मोक्ष सुख अतीन्द्रिय. He thinks that the same stage of mind can lead to the heavenly state as that of the completely liberated soul, disregarding the truth that merit leads to heavenly life and complete detachment to the state of complete liberation. So he considers the cause of getting hellish heavenly being, cause of taking birth in a heavenly being, and the liberation as one. Whereas the heavenly, whereas to get a heavenly life is because of auspicious sentiments, and for getting liberation you need to manifest pure sentiments. Okay, so this is the basic difference. So if you are manifesting auspicious sentiments, then you will get swarg. Okay, you will be born in a heavenly state. But if you are able to manifest pure sentiments, then it is a cause of liberation. So these were the errors regarding complete liberation element. In this manner, perverted belief regarding the seven fundamental persist even after reading Jain scriptures. So these are some of the belief that has been acquired after reading the Jain text, but he was not able to understand the true meaning of the chapter. So he was not able to, so his errors continue and he was not able to manifest the right faith. So these seven errors of the fundamental elements are very important, and the errors are not about the elements, but errors are about the understanding of the soul about the true nature of the seven elements. So this error in ourselves, and we can mend this error by studying the scriptures and understanding the scripture and contemplating on this and arriving at a decision on this. So unless and until we don't know the errors, how we are going to remove them? So it is very natural to know the true nature of each errors, and once you know the error, you will move in the direction of removing those, and sooner or later you will definitely remove those errors also, and you will achieve the right belief.
Sir, for errors regarding abstinence of various kinds of kinds that are instrumented merit bondage. The first one was Gupti. Second one, what was the Hindi word? I don't know. Third one was
Samiti. The Hindi word is Samiti. Samiti abstinence.
Oh yes, okay. So Samiti to as it is.
Samiti is vigilance or carefulness.
Okay. Third one was Das Dharma.
Right.
Fourth one was the 12 contemplations.
Right.
So is there a Hindi word to this?
Bara Bhavna.
Oh. Fifth,
10 Lakshan Dharma is 10 characteristics of religion.
and fifth one?
Fifth one is Parisah Jai.
Parishaj. Okay. What is it? Okay.
22 calamities. Win over
And the last one is Charitra, right?
Charitra, conduct. Right. So there are 5 types of conduct. So all these were external activity, and he was understanding it to be a true cause of passionlessness. So that is the error regarding all the 7 fundamentals. So tomorrow we will be taking up this next chapter, definition and pseudo definitions. Okay, Lakshan, Lakshana Bhas. So this is a way, how do you identify an object through its characteristics, and which characteristics you should highlight to know that substance that we will discuss tomorrow.
Sir, can you explain what is Samiti abstinence?
Samiti abstinence is when you walk, when a monk walk, okay, he takes care that not a single life is being violated. There is no violence as such, and he takes utmost care that he does not kill anybody. So there are 5 types of samitis. You want to see the names? I will tell you.
Area Samiti, Bhasha Samiti,
That these are, but I'm giving the
Asian. Yeah, you can tell in English.
yeah, I'm giving the English names to that. 5 types of vigilance or carefulness. Walking with attentive consciousness. Attentive consciousness, that is Iriya Samiti. Then the second one is careful speech, Bhasa Samiti. Third one is careful about consumption of food,
Asian.
Esna Samiti. The fourth one is careful about lifting and laying down, Adan Nikshepan.
Drawing color. Time nothing. Let's.
The last one is careful about disposal of bodily waste,
Show and tell no practice.
Pratishtapan Samiti.
Show and tell, I know what to tell.
But एक और revise नहीं
Sir,
करें.
we couldn't hear because somebody's mic was
हाँ,
unmuted.
तो 2 minutes उसके practice है 2 minutes daddy ने क्या?
1 minute, I will, yeah, Aditi ji has been muted now. So, the last 2 I will repeat again. Careful about lifting and laying down, Adan Nikshepan Samiti. And the last one is careful about disposal of bodily waste, Pratishtapan Samiti. I hope now all the names are clear. We will be learning about this in Tattvat Sutra in detail. So you can get all this from Tattvat Sutra book. But you will not be having Tattvat Sutra book right now. But in the 4th semester, I think 3rd semester only, Tattvat Sutra is there. So we will cover those at that point of time from Tattvat Sutra. Okay, so tomorrow we will do that chapter, the next one, and The first one is puja. Okay, so I have to just read that through, but if you are able to understand, then let me know. Otherwise, I will again. Anyways, I will going to explain after 3-4 chapters. I will take that puja. So tomorrow I will take chapter number 3. If you want to come reading it, you will understand better. Okay. And regarding the papers, as I said, we will be doing it next week. I will highlight some of the mistakes that you are doing and what are the good things that you have done. And so tomorrow, not tomorrow, but the next week, next Tuesday, we'll be discussing about it in the at the beginning of the class, and then we will move on to the our normal studies. Okay, so we are our time is also over. In fact, I've taken 5-7 minutes more. I'm sorry for that. Now let's end. निज निधि निज में बताई, यह अनंत उपकार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना 7 बार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना 7 बार है। 9 बार नौकार मंत्र गिनेंगे। जय जिनेन्द्र।